Are you ready to uncover the hidden truths about attracting genuine respect and connection? Because let me tell you, what I'm about to share with you isn't about cheesy pickup lines or playing games. This is about one simple unspoken gesture, one move that changes absolutely everything in how others, especially men, perceive you. And the craziest part, you don't even have to say a single word. Think about it. We've all been there, right? Trying so hard, saying all the right things, bending over backwards, only to feel like our efforts are just not landing. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. And frankly, it often leaves us feeling undervalued. Well, what if I told you that the secret isn't in what you say, what you give, or even how much you strive? What if the real power lies in how you withdraw, how you move, how you simply choose not to stay in spaces that no longer align with your truth? This might seem like a small thing, but trust me, it shakes someone's subconscious way more profoundly than any explanation or argument ever could. Visual. A subtle shift in lighting, perhaps a slightly more thoughtful expression on the creator's face. The atmosphere remains calm but hints at deeper introspection. In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and reveal the singular gesture that instantly shifts your position in his mind, not as an option, but as an absolutely unforgettable presence. We're going to journey together from that place of doubt where you're constantly waiting, wondering why you're not being valued, to that exact point where your sheer energy communicates loud and clear. He no longer has easy access to you unless he approaches with respect, clarity, and genuine consciousness. Visual, a quick, almost imperceptible montage of empowering diverse women smiling confidently, then back to the creator now with a more resolute and direct gaze. So if you're ready to reclaim your power and transform your interactions, hit that like button right now and make sure you subscribe. It's totally free for you, and it supports this channel immensely, helping me bring more of these insights your way. Done. Awesome. Let's dive in. Visual. The creator shifts posture, slightly leaning forward, signaling a deeper, more serious discussion. Maybe a graphic appears briefly on screen. The approval trap. Creator. All right, let's talk about the first crucial insight, and this one is a bit of a tough pill to swallow for many of us, especially as Canadians who are often taught to be accommodating and polite. We're often told to show our best selves, make a good impression. But what if your very efforts to impress him, to prove your worth, are actually making you seem less valuable? This is the truth almost nobody dares to tell you, but it's absolutely vital. Here's the unvarnished truth. The very fact that you feel like you have to prove your worth already projects that you don't fully feel it within yourself. And that, my friends, changes everything. From the second you become obsessed with showing him how good you are, how understanding you can be, how much love you have to give, how fascinating it could be to spend time with you, bam, you've fallen right into the trap. Your energy shifts instantly from queen to supplicant, from the center of your own universe to orbiting around his, from a high-value woman to a woman who desperately needs to be seen to feel valuable. Visual. The creator uses hand gestures to emphasize the shift, perhaps moving from a strong, upright posture to a slightly hunched one, then back to strong. The lighting might subtly dim slightly to reflect the trap, and this, believe it or not, is the first silent mistake that quietly erodes a man's desire, choice, and respect for a woman, even if he can't quite put his finger on why. Why? Because what you're doing vibrates as a search for approval. And the masculine unconscious deep down simply doesn't respond with attraction to an energy that seems to be asking for permission. It doesn't matter how amazing you are. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in. When your underlying intention is to be validated, your vibration subtly but surely drops. Visual, a thoughtful, slightly concerned expression, perhaps a subtle, almost imperceptible graphic or animation, illustrating a downward arrow representing dropping vibration. The legendary psychologist Carl Jung explained it without any sugarcoating. That which you do to obtain something from outside is precisely what you are denying within yourself. And that's exactly what's happening here. From a deep psychological perspective, masculine desire isn't activated by the woman who gives the most. It's activated by the woman who belongs most to herself. And a woman who truly belongs to herself, she has absolutely nothing to prove. She doesn't need to look perfect. She doesn't need everyone to like her. She doesn't need to impress. She simply is. She knows. She vibrates from her own inner axis, and from that grounded place, she simply allows herself to be observed without a shred of anxiety or desperation. Visual. The creator sits up straighter, a sense of quiet authority and self-possession radiating. The lighting brightens slightly, feeling more open and authentic. Let me tell you something that happens far more often than you'd imagine, especially in the dating scene across Canada, from Vancouver, coffee shops to Montreal pubs. A woman starts seeing a guy she's really into, and as soon as she notices his interest, she unconsciously activates this pattern. She starts responding to his texts instantly, even if she's busy. She might cook his favorite meal without him even asking. She accepts last-minute changes to plans to accommodate his schedule. She asks questions that seem attentive but are actually subtly designed to confirm if he's still interested, if he's still there. Visual, a split screen or quick cuts showing a woman checking her phone anxiously, cooking with a worried expression, and nodding agreeably to a suggestion with a forced smile. From the outside, all of this can look like genuine interest, wonderful effort, good energy. But from the more subtle energetic plane, all of that feels like effort for validation. And that vibration, even if it's never spoken aloud, is what creates the first crack in his perception of your value. Because a man unconsciously doesn't think, wow, she's putting in so much effort. She must be incredibly valuable. No, he thinks, if she needs to demonstrate it this much, does she actually know her own worth? Visual creator's expression shifts to a knowing, slightly sad look, a subtle sound effect of a delicate crack, almost imperceptible, and that my love changes everything. Because the masculine isn't truly conquered by the woman who gives her all, who exhausts herself in pursuit. He's captivated by the woman who feels no need to convince him, the one who is so deeply anchored in her own certainty that she can offer the very best of herself without the underlying need to be chosen by him. And here lies the brutal paradox: the more you strive to prove you are worthy, the less worthy you appear in the eyes of his unconscious. Because true value isn't shouted from the rooftops, it's vibrated, it's embodied, it's breathed. And this is the sacred principle that differentiates a woman who impresses him for a little while from a woman who transforms him forever. Visual creator stands up or leans back with renewed confidence, a powerful, almost serene look on their face. Lighting feels expansive. You aren't here to convince anyone of who you are. You are here to remember who you are, and for those who are truly ready to simply feel it. Let me share a real story that perfectly illustrates this one, that happens all too often, maybe even to someone you know from your local community center or online book club. Visual creator pauses, makes eye contact, and then transitions into storytelling mode. So there was this woman, let's call her Chloe. Chloe was just starting to see someone, Dave, who absolutely captivated her. He was charming, witty, and seemed to genuinely light up her world. Without even realizing it, Chloe started to lose herself a little. She began canceling her own plans with friends because Dave might call. She'd spend extra time picking out outfits for every single date, meticulously planning her responses to his texts as if they were secret codes. Every message he sent was analyzed, every word scrutinized, all to avoid making a single misstep, all to ensure he truly saw her. Visual, a rapid montage of a woman looking stressed while dressing, overthinking a text message and looking anxiously at her phone, depicting the subtle descent into self-abandonment. She was so focused on being perceived as perfect, on being the ideal woman for him, that she forgot to just be Chloe. She thought she was showcasing her value, but what she was actually doing was trying to earn it moment by moment. Until one day he simply stopped reaching out. Radio silence. And Chloe, heartbroken and utterly confused, finally gathered the courage to ask him directly, her voice trembling, "Was I too much?" Visual creator conveys a sense of vulnerability and sadness in their expression, a moment of quiet anticipation, and he trying not to hurt her yet. Being honest, said something that etched itself into her soul. "I felt like everything was just too perfect, but I don't know who you are when you're not trying to please me." Visual creator looks thoughtful, almost as if replaying the words in their mind. That hit her like an emotional bomb, because Chloe suddenly understood that all her effort had screamed the exact opposite of what she believed. She thought she was showing her value, but her over-presence was screaming, "Did you see me? Am I enough for you yet?" And that was what pushed him away. Not her true self, not her authentic desires, but the desperate need for validation that overshadowed everything. Visual creator now has a look of clear understanding and quiet strength, as if they've processed a difficult truth. From that day on, Chloe stopped trying to prove anything. She started being. She reconnected with her hobbies, her pottery classes, her hiking group. She returned to her own rhythm, her own schedule. She picked up her journal again, writing just for herself. And most importantly, she started remembering that value isn't something you beg for. It's something you hold. It's intrinsic. Visual, a sequence of quick positive shots, hands working with clay, hiking boots on a trail, a pen writing in a journal, all conveying a sense of rediscovery and self-nurturing. And here's the most fascinating part. Weeks later, Dave actually came back. But this time he was the one making the effort, because something in her energy had fundamentally shifted. She wasn't waiting to be seen anymore. She was simply shining on her own. And that's when she truly understood the gesture that changes. Everything begins with letting go of the need to prove anything at all. Visual creator smiles a knowing, triumphant look. The background might subtly brighten or become more vibrant, and that, my friends, is the threshold that prepares you for what's coming next. Because if this first key was about deactivating the error, the next key is the direct revelation of the exact gesture that radiates high-value energy without uttering a single word. Visual. A dramatic pause, direct eye contact with the camera, a sense of anticipation building. Get ready, because what you're about to discover is the silent yet brutally powerful gesture that a truly high-value woman uses when he gives ambiguous answers, when he cancels last minute, or when he casts doubt on his interest. And this gesture doesn't just throw him off balance, it redefines everything. All right, before we dive into the absolute core of this transformation, I need to make a quick heartfelt request. If these insights are resonating with you, if you're feeling that quiet shift within, I would be incredibly grateful if you could subscribe to the channel. It honestly allows me to keep creating these soul-stirring messages, and the best part, it's completely free for you. Seriously, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get back to the most powerful thing you're about to learn. This, my friends, is the exact point where the game changes, where you change, and where he gets profoundly shaken, because this isn't a common gesture. This isn't your typical response, and precisely because of that, it's unforgettable. We're not talking about ignoring him out of spite. We're not talking about revenge. We're definitely not talking about manipulation. What we are talking about is breaking the emotional pattern he unconsciously expects you to repeat. Visual Creator's expression is serious, almost conspiratorial, as if sharing a profound secret. A subtle, quick visual of a broken chain or a shattered glass pattern might flash on screen. You know the pattern, don't you? That pattern where when he pulls away, you instinctively lean in more. That pattern where he gives you a weak excuse and you respond with infinite understanding, trying to be cool or not needy. That pattern where he says, "Let's see what happens." And you interpret that as an invitation to stay and keep fighting for his attention. You're trying to win him over, proving your worth. And by doing so, you're falling deeper into the trap we just talked about. Visual. A series of quick illustrative vignettes, a woman leaning in, anxiously nodding too much at a flimsy excuse or looking hopeful after an ambiguous statement. But you, my queen, are no longer going to follow that script, because you are not the woman who reacts. You are the woman who responds from her throne. And from that place of regal self-possession comes the gesture. Visual Creator stands tall and confident, a knowing smile playing on their lips. The lighting shifts to be warmer, more regal. The queen's gesture is simple, yet utterly devastating in its impact. You withdraw with calm when he expects you to fight. Listen closely when he acts ambiguously, when he cancels last minute, when his energy isn't clear and consistent. You don't bring the drama. You don't demand. You don't question. You certainly don't send a 3-paragraph emotional text message trying to explain your feelings or his shortcomings. No, you simply withdraw with calm, with dignity, with presence. Visual. A subtle slow-motion shot of the creator taking a calm, deliberate step back, maintaining eye contact, then a serene smile. Your response is serene. It's concise. It's direct. Something like, "Okay, understand. Hope things go well for you." Or, "Got it. Take care." And then you disappear, not with anger, not with sarcasm, not with manipulation, but with a peace so disarming that he's left wondering if losing you was his decision or his biggest mistake. Visual. Gentle fade to black or a soft diffusing light effect after the creator delivers the line emphasizing the disappearance. Because what he expected was something else entirely. He expected a reaction, a proof that you were affected, a gesture that he still held power over you. And you, without saying a word, demonstrate that he no longer does. That is the gesture. And it is profoundly powerful because he doesn't understand it. He feels it. Your silence isn't punishment. Your absence isn't a strategy. It is an energetic declaration. You are no longer vibrating at the level of my center, and I do not negotiate my energy with inconsistency. Visual Creator's expression is one of quiet power and resolve. A subtle visual overlay of radiating energy lines from their chest area, then a soft protective shield forming. Carl Jung, again brilliant as ever, taught that the unconscious is activated by the unexpected. When a woman breaks the emotional pattern, a man anticipates something profound, awakens in his psyche. And that, my friends, is exactly what this gesture achieves. Because when you don't respond with drama or anxiety or begging, he is confronted perhaps for the first time with his own emptiness, his own inconsistency, his own lack of clarity, and you become the most brutally honest mirror he has ever had. Visual. A subtle, almost unsettling visual of a person looking into a distorted mirror, then the distortion clears, revealing a sharp, clear reflection. A man can ignore your words. He can justify your complaints. He can even sidestep your tears. But he simply cannot ignore a silent withdrawal that seeks no punishment, but rather expansion, your expansion. And here's the most important caveat: this gesture only works if it's real. If you do it hoping he'll come back, it won't work. If you do it expecting a reaction, it loses its power. This gesture isn't for him, it's for you. Visual creator shakes her head slightly, conveying the importance of authenticity. A visual of a wilting plant if the gesture is inauthentic, then a thriving plant if authentic. Because when you choose to withdraw with calm, you're not trying to control anything. You are reaffirming that your peace is non-negotiable, and that, my friends, that changes everything. Let me tell you about Clara, a woman I know who lives right here in Canada, and her experience perfectly illustrates this. After 3 weeks of feeling like the guy she was seeing, Mark, was just fading out, Clara received a vague message. Visual creator adopts a more empathetic storytelling posture. Mark texted, "Hey, I've been super swamped lately. Maybe we can see if we can catch up this weekend." Clara felt that familiar knot in her stomach. The old Clara would have instantly replied, "Oh, totally understand. Just let me know when you're free." Or worse, "Is everything okay? You seem distant." Or the classic, "Did I do something wrong?" Visual, quick, illustrative shots of a woman looking worried at her phone, then typing a desperate message, then a panicked, questioning expression. But Clara took a deep breath. She remembered who she was. She remembered what her energy was worth. And she simply wrote, "Okay, take care." And then silence. True silence. She uninstalled the expectation. She returned to her own plans. She continued with her life. She didn't block him. She didn't delete him. She simply let go genuinely. Visual, a serene shot of Clara closing her eyes, taking a deep breath, then smiling softly as she engages in a personal activity. Reading, painting with a sense of calm and freedom. 3 days later, guess who popped up? Mark. And this time his energy was completely different. It was respectful. It was clear. And his message was truly telling. "No one has ever responded to me like that. It really made me think about what I'm doing." Visual creator offers a triumphant, knowing smile. And that is the Queen's gesture. It doesn't seek a reaction. It causes reflection. Because a high-value woman doesn't need to raise her voice. Her absence already says everything. And you, my dear, you don't make that gesture for him. You make it because you know that every single time you stay where your energy isn't respected, you are abandoning yourself. And you are not here to abandon yourself again. You are here to elevate. Visual creator stands firm, looking directly into the camera, a beacon of self-respect and empowerment.